Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. And today we're back into our big game of Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. This is our play by email against the devilish Mr. Lodrick, and it is now March 13th, 1942, and it is the setup phase, so we're going to do our usual. Now, this is a very special vacation edition, so I probably won't be quite as fulsome in my descriptions this time around. I just want to keep this going along even while on vacation. Look at the dedication, guys. But no, I'm enjoying this game so much. I want to keep, putting it out there, getting it out there every other day, getting an episode up. So sitting in a hotel in Las Vegas. Wow, Viva Las Vegas. No better place to play a game. Anyway, let's go look around. Well, let's go look at the stats first here on March 13th and see what we got going on. There we go. All right. So last turn we ran 6,039 sorties. The Japanese ran 7,841. You can see the massive advantage the Japanese have in the campaign so far, I should say. 14,000 additional sorties. Well, maybe a little closer to 13,000, but it's still a lot more sorties out there. Air to air, 0 to 0 last time. 597 to 223 on the campaign. Destroyed on the field, 0 and 0. Destroyed by flak. We actually had one destroyed by flak this time around. The Japanese had none. We obviously have a huge advantage there because he's running offensive missions. Operational losses 3 to 2, and you can see these are pretty much nil. Right on parity there. Which, if you look at the number of sorties run, really is kind of a loss for us, if to be honest. We're up to 627 political points. We are very close to being able to buy out another American regiment and getting it out into the Pacific. If we look at the overall score, Lodrick now at 16,209. We're at 7624 as he continues to widen that lead. Now, in my experience, he'll need that to be well over 3 to 1 by kind of mid 42 here to have a chance. Now in 43, if he's up 4 to 1, he gets a sudden victory. So it's a very fine line, believe me. When they designed this game and they designed the victory points, they did a great job of keeping the attention high, I would say, because I've certainly had games where I thought, oh my gosh, I may lose this game by sudden loss, and then it turns so fast that it's only 2.5 to 1 by the time 43 rolls around, and usually the Allies are just going to prevail fairly easily there. But Lodrick's done a good job. He's done a great job, and so this one is probably going to go to the wire, assuming we can even take it that far. We'll see. That I love it. It's fun. It's fun that way. Allied bases controlled 448. The Japanese have 390, and you see the points that we're each getting for those. Allied aircraft points lost 1091 to 669 for the Japanese. The Army points lost, and this is the big one, 7023 to 133. That ain't gonna cut it, kids. Allied ship sunk 403 for 3278 on the points. The Japanese, as far as we know, only have 8 in the bottom of the sea. Let's go to ship sunk this last turn. And so last turn, we had one little AKL near Exmouth that was taken out. A 1-point Dutch cargo ship is a civilian. That's what that little X means. A civilian cargo ship, the Sapporo. So yeah, okay, he took it out. What is that? 14 centimeter. That's got to be a torpedo with the T in there. I just don't remember that one off the top of my head. I guess a submarine got into that. Oh, that's right. I remember that now. Submarine hit that with a 20. Well, I don't know. It's 14 centimeter torpedo. Okay, moving on. We did lose a point there. All right. Aircraft losses. We could go look at this. I haven't looked at this today. There were 6 total aircraft that were lost. Let's just see what they were. There was an Ann, a Betty, a Catalina, a DO-24K, that's recon plane, Lysander, and a Hudson. All right. None of our fighters really. He lost a few bombers, we lost a few recon aircraft, and we lost a few bombers. Total for the entire campaign. You can see Oscars right up here, 103, Warhawks 101, the 139s, the Dutch aircraft, 99 of those. The Flying Tigers, we've lost 92, including 70 by air to air. We don't often look at this chart, but it's kind of cool, right? You can go really get down granular into every little thing that you've lost. Um, Allied losses today, 4 for the campaign 1081. So you can see all of that information that we normally talk about over here on this section. Group reinforcement schedule, what new planes are coming in? Well, we get those new 16 Kitty Hawks in at Brisbane. That is much welcomed, as I always talk about, getting those Kitty Hawks, even if they're not the greatest plane, just to have planes up in the air. And some of these Australian groups actually get okay pilots. They're not bad, and so they give us a little air cover in Australia, which we desperately need. The Formidable, the big carrier, British carrier, the Formidable arrives in 2 days. That will be out at Cape Town. And we'll see. I mean, we'll probably hide it for now. I mean, there's no reason to have it on the map. It would just get destroyed once the Japanese sniff out that we have a carrier on the map. We will be getting Kitty Hawks in 3 days at Perth as well. So we get them at Brisbane, we get them at Perth. Thank the Lord above. Kingfishers coming in here. Now these are like float planes, recon float planes. We'll try now coming in at Alameda. Who the hell wants to come in at Alameda? Nothing to do there. We'll try to get those out into the Pacific, get them on islands. They're very good if you have small or non-existent airfields, of course, because they are float planes. They can land on the water. Catalinas, okay, coming in at Aden. We get some more of those. We need all of those we can get down at in India, Colombo, out on the islands near Colombo, etc. You can see at San Diego, we get a couple of training groups here with some Texans and some Buffaloes. These Buffaloes, I believe, are carrier capable. They are. And so if we put them on a carrier, they could start to train up. We would take a few operational losses, certainly, but we could get that new squadron out on a carrier if we wanted to. If we wanted to. You see here at Canberra, we get 18 Mitchells. That's nice. That'll give us a little naval attack ability out in Australia, a little bit more. I mean, we've got a few squadrons out there that are already doing naval attack, but we don't have a lot. A lot. Let's put it that way. Let's look at our top pilots. Okay. We've still got CAC Stone, my guy, CAC. I just call him Cac Stone. He's got 6 kills. Excellent. He's British. You'd see these Brits just tearing it up. We've got FRC Carey. Everybody calls him Frickin' Carey. He's got 5 kills. Okay, so we have 2 aces. We got about 5 guys in line here to maybe get up to ace status eventually, assuming they can stay alive. We got Grover back at TrackCom, ready to train some people. We'll talk about TrackCom at some point. He's an 81 experience. He's a very good guy to have leading your training group. So we'll be putting more things back at TrackCom with Grover back there. He was riding in a P40B, which is not the greatest. We're up to like a P40E now, but he obviously with that 81 experience did some damage out there. We have 54 pilots missing in action, 254 wounded, 212 killed in action. How about this guy? Hunan, he's gotten 2 kills in an I-15. Oh, we got a few of these guys. Well, that's not bad. If you can do that in an I-15, you're a damn good pilot. Okay, ship available. We talked about ship sunk, ship availability. Got to do the old double sort. There we go. And in one day, the Queen Mary, keep on burning, Queen Mary. One day out to Cape Town, the Formidable, as we discussed. And if we look here, it's got 18 albacores on it, and then it's got another 12 in reserve. Okay, I mean, those are torpedo planes. And then we've got the Martlet 2. That's not really the fighter you want to have up above your carrier groups. Let me tell you. That's why we're going to hide the Formidable. just let it. I say hide it. We're just going to let it sit at Cape Town really for quite some time. The Isaac Swears, the Arrow are out here. Destroyers at Mombasa and Aden, respectively. We'll probably get those down to Cape Town as fast as we can. The Grouper is coming in at Balboa. The Americans just love to name their subs after fish types. So, okay, we've got the salmon out there, the tuna, and here comes the Grouper. We've got some new ACMs coming in, and actually, I wanted to discuss this for just a second. We've had a lot of these ACMs come in recently. We'll get even more. Quite a few at Los Angeles, quite a few at Seattle. Why are we getting them all now, and what are we going to do with them? Well, you want to take them out to the islands, and you want to seed all of those islands in the South Pacific with as many mines as you can load on there. If we look at like the Bush, it's a 2 point ship. So if we lose it ultimately, it's not the end of the world. And so we'll be putting at places like Luganville, Afate, Canton Island, Palmyra, Christmas, all of those islands out there will get mine layers. And I'll be honest, I was a little, I don't know if aggressive is the right word because we haven't been doing much mine laying, but we've lost some mine layers just because I had them too close to the front. You really don't need to do that right off the bat. I mean, the very first turn, you should have mine layers go out where you know the Japanese are going to try to strike, relatively early, like places in Papua New Guinea or places like that. Then after that, you pull him way back and you wait. You kind of wait for him to expand, and then you wait until you get all of these ACMs because they're mine tenders. If you go lay all of those mines on turn one, by now they would have all degraded, right? And you don't have enough ACMs at the start to tend them all. Now you're going to start getting them in, and you can see we got two here. Here's two more, the sage and the birch. I think there's two more, the sumac and the maple. So like every week we're getting two as we go down here, and now you can really tend them, and they're only 2 point ships, so you can get them out on those islands. Make sure if he is going to come try to land somewhere, he's going to have to bring minesweepers, which could potentially slow him down. Maybe one of those mines doesn't get swept. You get a transport. There's nothing more satisfying than blowing a transport sky high with a mine that you laid a month before, right? So that's the idea anyway with those ACMs, but we'll talk more and more about that as we continue to set up. Ground reinforcement schedule. Well, you know what gets me going, and that's things coming into Chungking. And you can see we got a lot of 257s coming into Chungking. Most of these rebuilt, but some of them reinforcements and new. Other than that, we don't get a whole lot. We do get the 7th Marine Regiment. This one's at the eastern U.S. We'll immediately rail it to Los Angeles and get it out into the Pacific. This is a really nice unit, obviously. 140, did that say 142? I believe it did. Yeah, 142 on the assault value. So we'll try to take this out to Suva, maybe Nomaya, one of those places. I think I usually put the 7th on Suva, but we'll see. We've also got more of these Marine Defense Battalions. They're great for places like Canton or Fate or Luganville or, Espiritu Santo, which is Luganville. We also then get the 9th Marine Regiment in at San Diego in 19 days. So you can see the Marines are starting to fit out here on the West Coast. And then we've already talked about these British brigades that are going to become incredibly important over in the Calcutta, Chittagong area, and we'll talk a lot more about those. Now, you see the 26th Indian Division also comes in on the Eastern Command. It is restricted, right? But it'll be coming in at Madras in 19 days. That is much welcome. That'll allow us to shift some forces out, including those Australians that have been sitting in Madras for quite some time. These units, these 24th and 147th SEP Infantry, they're infantry regiments. They're a 115. Again, they're not restricted. They're South Pacific, much, much needed there. That's about it. We get the Second Australian Army coming in, the command, but nothing you can really do with it at this point. As more things come into the Hawaiian department, like these tank battalions that are restricted, we could take things that are already there and buy them out. Certainly, we get another one of these infantry regiments in at Tacoma that's North Pacific. We'll put that up in Alaska Way, or maybe we could even put it on Midway if we want to get crazy. But okay, well, that's we're 2 months forward there. I just get excited when I see all of that stuff. So okay, I think we're all through that. Um, One thing we really haven't looked at is the pools. We could look at what's in the pool. We haven't, checked that out. Now I look at it every turn, but we really haven't talked about it on the stream. You can see heavy industry, naval support. Okay, well, I mean, those things aren't really things you are going to be replacing troops. Now naval support does, but that's kind of a game mechanic almost. Um, Engineer sport, aviation sport, so on and so forth. A lot of Soviet rifles. You can see we've actually built up some mines, which is good. I've tried to turn most of the things with mines off so far now, but as we talked about these ACM things, uh, we need mines building up because we're going to need to put them on mine layers when we go decide where we're going to be seeding all of these mines. As we move down here, AT guns, you see more mines there. A sound detector, okay. It's so cool how it goes through every element in this game, and you can go see what's in the pool, what's been used so far, how many have been produced. Let's just see what's been produced most this month out of curiosity. Well, heavy industry, of course, naval sport engineers. Okay, a lot of support, but Chinese rifle squads, 232. Hey, we need that. We need that, right? You can see the build rate per month over here. You can see mortars were cranking out pretty well, howitzers, Mark 10 mines, okay, U.S. rifle squads were cranking out 60 of those a month. Those will go into replacements, and so when you've got your replacements turned on, they can go replace that stuff. Um, and I mean, you can get as deep into this game as you want to. Do you have to go monitor all that stuff? Well, maybe you want to go look at it, if you decide whether to turn replacements on or off. When we start the game, I always say have everything turned off, and then you can always turn it on as you go if things need replacements, and that way, then it just flows straight to that unit. So anyway, there's two levels of replacements in this game. It's whether you have it turned on or off at the pool level, and then whether you have it turned on or off at the individual counter level, right? So if we go to availability, no, sorry, I'm sorry. If we go back to this, you can say, are we stockpiling any of this? And as you can see, I've got this all on no right now. That's because I'm still in the build out phase early on. We haven't been in that many battles, and any place that we have, like China, I just want it flowing into whatever it can get into. This I will change later on. So we start with all of these stockpiling yes for the most part, but now I've got them all stockpiling no. But we can talk more about that as we move forward. Okay, let's just go, kind of work around the map a little bit here. Abaddon, Aden, if you've been watching the videos, you know what we do there. It's all into Karachi. Do we have anything interesting at Karachi? Not really, just things dropping off as usual. Down at Madras, we've got what is that, 696 in the garrison. When we get that new British army or division, I'm sorry, it's a full division. I think that, where did that say it came in at? Gosh darn it. I can't remember. I think it's Hyderabad. Well, I guess we can go look, can't we? Let's go to ground reinforcement schedule. And let's go down here. It's a 314, if I remember correctly. No, it comes directly into Madras. So when we get that in about 3 weeks, I will then pull the Australians out of here. I'll send them by rail to Karachi, and then we'll take them to Australia. That's what I'm waiting on. I bring the 6th Australian Division here first, just to guard against any kind of surprise sneak attack. But once we've kind of reinforced Madras, um, then we'll get the Australians out of here. Calcutta, We've got sitting with a 582. We'll want to build that up, obviously. You can see all of the movement I have coming down roads out to Akyab and whatnot. He is now at Mole Mine. That was the big headline this time. And now he's going to start moving. And you can see he's got at least 98,000 troops that we can see. That is going to overwhelm anything that we can possibly get to Rangoon. Now, I did get supply in here this time. So at Rangoon, we have 9,424 tons. We've got a lot of fuel to turn into some supply, but we just don't have enough. I mean, we've got 519 at the garrison here. At Pagoo, we have 351, and then the guys dropping back from Mole Mine, we'll have them go set up at Pago first, and then, well, we'll probably take them all the way to Rangoon so they have longer to try to recover. But we're only going to have about 1,000 AV. He's got about 2,500 AV there, so we're not going to hold Rangoon. We'll just try to hold out at Rangoon. Colombo, 443 here. We're getting a lot more planes here now. We got fighter bombers and fighters. The fighter bombers I would rather keep at Madras and keep the Hurricane 2B drops out here. You're usually going to get more carrier air action here at Colombo than you are at Madras. So I put the fighter bombers down at Madras and the Hurricane 2B drops out here at Colombo. Those Catalinas we saw, I went out at Mail and Adu to just look at all this. We could even put him out at Port Blair so we can see when he moves through here. We've lost a little sight of where his carriers are right now. Well, we have. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. We gotta try to ascertain where they are as quickly as we can. Cape Town, moving in, moving out, coming from the U.S. East Coast, then moving on to the map to Perth, sometimes to Colombo, but that's more and more rare that he's getting carriers up here. So mainly it's all going to Perth and coming back from Perth. And if we look down here to where we come on the map, you can see we've got a line coming in and out of Perth. Boop, 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 back and forth, back and forth. Let's go Dutch East Indies. He's now moved, quite close to Batavia, but now he's also sitting in the hex of Surabaya. So he got here very quickly. He's taken the center of Java, and now he is sitting in Surabaya, and it's just a matter of time. I mean, we just don't have enough to hold off here. We have a garrison of 442, so I hope to at least bloody his nose a little bit, but he's decided to come a little bit south first, take this Surabaya, and then he's also moving towards Batavia. You can see the line of ships, and I am going to get all of these subs out of here. That's just not working in the shallow seas. He is done against the AI. This works, right? This will work because the AI does not do as good a job of escorting as certainly Laudric has. So when you're playing the AI, um, you can get away with this and you would be blowing up transports pretty much every turn or other things. But when you play a human that does escort properly, you're not going to get that kind of joy in the shallow seas. You need to be out in the deep blue with your subs. So I gave it a go. I gave it a shot with the Dutch subs. It's just not working, and we're going to have to get them out of here. Some of these maybe up in this area or up, kind of on the coast here, or maybe here where he comes through the Sulu Sea, or here you're looking for choke points, right? So this is a perfect choke point. You sit right here. He could go coastal on you and get around, which means you could sit here, but then you're getting into the coastal waters. Places like here, every place you can find a choke point in the deep blue sea is a good place to set submarines. Okay, he's almost to Palembang as well. So this has all really moved quickly. He's now coming to Palembang, Batavia, sitting at Surabaya. I say it's moved quickly, but honestly, March 13th may be a little late for him by a week or so. And if we can hold out a little bit longer till the end of March, we actually will be okay there. That's not bad. Not bad. Now, against the AI, maybe it would be bad, but against a really good human player, not so much. He really would want to get there, probably, like I said, probably about a week ago. we'll see how long we can hold out. You know, again, my goal or my hope, I guess, because we can't really do anything more about the situation. My hope is that we last into April, early April, and then we will have held him up pretty decently. Out in China, um, what new happened here? Well, he's still sitting in the hex at Wu Chao. We've, of course, jumped the river here. We'll be trying to. This is all part of Third War Area, which is sitting in Hanyang. We'll try to get this back to Hanyang. Over here, we're trying to get the Loyang stack out, the Chengchao Loyang stack out, maybe to Ankang, maybe to Tianchu. I don't know. I don't know yet. We're just going to try to get out. He's had troops up and down this major road, and we've had a hard time getting past here. We're going to keep trying. Lanchao, we're 300 points. Cyan, we're 300 points. He's got an army here, and now he's started to move up the road to Kungchang. Now, what I'm hoping is he gets a little extended out here. I don't think we can stop him from taking these towns, but if he does, we'll try to cut supply as we're going to full partisan warfare. Do, 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 do. The Philippines have almost fallen. We have held out at Cagayan for a very long time, and I like that. I like that. He's still messing around in the Philippines here. Uh, I'll bet with a, not a huge force, but we have held him up here as well. As we move down, Australia, we'll talk more about this on a non vacation episode. You can see I've got a lot of shipping coming into Sydney this time, but we're going to need to hide this because he can get his carriers out of here anytime he wants. It looks like he's mainly been at Rabaul or Ley with his carriers. He's like to sit right here. He has now taken Port Moresby, of course, which was 280 points, and that's why he really jumped up last time. And so you can see all over the map, he is on the march. He's doing what he should do. And you can see here, we were trying to get up to this base. Well, that's not going to work anymore. We were trying to get across this way. He dropped off troops here. Really nice move there by Lodrick. I mean, it's not worth a whole lot of points. I just appreciated it because we were trying to come across the island, get into this base, but instead he came all the way around, landed here, and our subs just, these American subs, they've had several opportunities and they've whiffed on good transport battleship. I mean, they just whiffed. So now this group that was coming to Port Moresby's like, uh-oh. So we're going to try to take him down to Milne Bay, but he'll probably land there too. The group that was in Port Moresby, these poor guys, I mean, I just didn't get enough up there for them. It ends up that they didn't starve out. We just didn't have enough troops over there, and he very rudely boots us out of here. And as you can see, they've got no supply. They're out in the middle of a swamp with no supply. Not really where you want to be. So again, I mean, the hot spots right now. Moresby, he's kicked us out of. Surabaya, soon he will kick us out of. Batavia, he's on the march to there. Palembang, on the march to there. Cagayan, he will soon take all of the Philippines. In China, he's on the march to Lanchao and Sian. So, constant pressure, constant on top of us. But in a lot of places, for instance, in Java and in Sumatra, maybe not as fast as he'd like to be out to some of these places, certainly. I think he's taken Moresby, of course, if you compare it historically, he's taken Moresby much faster than the Japanese did, considering they never took it. But this was in March, about the time of the Battle of the Coral Sea, when the Americans knocked the Japanese back. The Japanese had been ascendant up till the Battle of the Coral Sea. You had a 2-on-2 carrier battle, of which the Japanese actually kind of tactically won the battle, but the Americans let them know no further. We're going to send carriers, we're going to send whatever to do what we can to stop you. And the Japanese actually never got to taking Port Moresby after that battle. They had to kind of retreat and lick their wounds. Also, they're getting stretched when it comes to logistics. And I know that Lodrick, he always kind of plays around with me in our emails, and he said, "Well, I may have to, to give it a. I'm running out of breath. May have to give it a little break here. If you guys are watching his videos, maybe what he means by that. I took it to mean that his logistics maybe are getting a little stretched. Gosh, let's hope before you know it, he's going to be in Canberra. But we're going to try to stop him. So for this time, I'm going to call this a little bit short. I will tell you coming up, I've already started making videos for March 25th. What do we have? March 13th. And I'm going through very detailed the entire setup for March 25th, literally every unit that we have on the map. And so that's going to be about three, almost 4 episodes, I believe. And so if you're interested in seeing what I'm doing with every counter on the map, that will be coming up here in a video in the not too distant future, or several videos actually. So anyway, this has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. Hopefully you're enjoying this game. Man, I'm really enjoying playing it. Nothing better than playing a very good human player in this game. It makes it the best game ever made, in my opinion. In my opinion. And you can't change it. Anyway, Strategy Gaming Dojo. Till next time, have a great one, guys.